K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and tonight I am joined by none other than my co-host and mess around, Dave. How you doing tonight, my man?
I'm good. Just waiting to do the show and then have dinner afterwards. And we got a couple more after the show that we're going to do. But looking forward to talking to you all tonight about some stuff.
Absolutely. Tonight, you're watching an episode of Coast to Coast Red Tape Files, but tonight is actually a very special edition. And the reason why we're saying tonight's a very special edition of the Coast to Coast Red Tape Files is simply because people have reached out to us and they want to know a few questions. So we're here to answer those questions for you. Okay, so number one, typical questions that we get is, what got us into doing this coast to coast, red tape files? What got us into talking about, these disappearances in different cases and stuff like that? Well, so I'll go ahead and I'll start out and I'll tell you. So for me, I kind of got into watching these type of shows, of like disappearance shows and stuff like that. I was like super young. I was a really young boy when I started watching them. I really started enjoying them. And then, one day, mess around Dave and I were just kind of talking. We're like, hey, you know what? This would be a brilliant idea. So why don't we take a show, we throw it out there, and we talk about people who have disappeared over time, and let's see if we can bring some of these individuals home. So mess around. I think people were asking you kind of the same questions. What got you into actually these red tape files in the first place?
Well, for me, it all started back when I was a kid. I think maybe 10 to 12, somewhere in that age range, when you had the Unsolved Mysteries show come on. And even then as a kid, I loved that stuff. Even though some of the stories they had on there would absolutely terrify me. I had nightmares for weeks about them. And the theme song for that, too, was just amazing for the Unsolved Mysteries. Even today, though, when I get home from work, the first thing I do is I sit down and I turn on the Investigative Discovery Channel, and I watch that until I fall asleep. That's all I watch anymore is that channel, unless football's on.
Right, yeah, I'm definitely right there with you. And so for those of you who really want to know, so mess around. If you remember when I reached out to you and I kind of talked to you about this idea of, hey, I was like, hey, I kind of have this new show idea. I wonder how well it would go. It turned out that you liked the idea, and then the first couple shows we did, it turned out rather well, and people actually rather enjoyed it. So, what is your hopes on the show? What do you hope to achieve on the show?
One other, I hope that we can, like you said at the beginning, we can help like solve some of these, help maybe bring closure to families, bring people home, get even for some of these older cases, just get the information back out there because it's probably not talked about as much today as when the case was first active. So, excuse me, just shining new light on these cases.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing is, when we talk about these cases, we don't only talk about cases that are happening, currently right now within like the early 2010s, to 2022. Nah, like we're going to dive deep back into cases that have happened, maybe 1950, 1960. You never really know. Like we could go all the way back. You just never really know how deep we're going to go back.
Yeah, that's true because there's a lot of interesting cases from back then too, and maybe we can get some guests on here with knowledge of the case. They have firsthand information for some of them. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and so as analysts, what we're wanting to do for anybody who's watching this show right now, if you have any cold cases that you would like, mess around Dave and myself to talk about, feel free to go ahead and put it in the comment box. We will talk about any cold case you want to. We have an open invitation for basically anybody who wants to come on this Coast to Coast Red Tape File show. We're throwing it out there right now. You guys can come on, join our show, and we are more than welcome for you to sit here and listen to the story you have, any facts you have, or whatever. And maybe even you are more privient to a case, and we're sitting out here and we're talking about the case and we're throwing out facts. And as we're talking about these facts, you might be somebody who might be like, you know what, actually, there is an update on this case. You know what? Drop it in the comment box. Drop it. The reason is we want to be able to bring these people home. That is our main goal. So overall, I don't know about you, Mess Around Dave, but everybody knows us as being sports junkies. Everybody knows that. But I don't think a lot of people know us as these type of cold case junkies too.
No, not at all. I mean, a lot of people would be surprised if they went through my Netflix history, and most shows I watch are dealing with murders or cold cases or whatnot. That's my Netflix right there.
Absolutely, right? So it's definitely there. So we do want to say we're not going to be talking a real long time tonight for you, but we will kind of give you a little bit of a list of people, who we will be talking about within the coming weeks here. We do have a little bit of a list. So if you're going to watch our show within the coming weeks, let me go ahead and throw you out a list just to kind of get you a little bit prepared. So just in case you want to research and you might have facts of your own, or you might want to join the show, let us know. So next week, we'll be talking about a person that's called Amos Glover. And Amos Glover was a 5-month-old that actually disappeared. I believe it was in London, England. Disappeared at 5 months old. So we'll be doing that one next week. That one actually goes back all the way to 1989. So when we talked about going a long ways back, this is going to be one of them. We will even talk about the Millbrooks, the 2 Millbrooks case. It's the double ones that are coming up. Another fantastic ones. When the Millbrooks disappeared, they disappeared at the age of 15. And so even when we're talking about this, when we're talking about different ages, you're going to get a variety of ages, anywhere from 5 months old to freaking 40, 50, whatever. You're going to get some local disappearances around here. Keep in mind, we live in a small town. Like, we don't live in a huge town like New York City or something like that, but we have plenty of disappearances around here. So you might even hear some things about cases that you wouldn't even know because of a small town. So, Mess Around Dave, is there kind of anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah, we've been trying to do the Angela Reed case, and I'm trying to get his brother to come on because he was interested in doing that. So, Tim, if you're watching, get a hold of me and we'll set this thing up so we can shed some more light on your brother's disappearance and all that. And call me if you need to, message me, whatever. I want to get that out there for you, for your family, and just reach out to me.
Yeah, we definitely might be able to get the answers that you're looking for. So that's our goal for anybody who knows about that case. We want to do that case also. We have this huge list that we plan on doing within the upcoming weeks. So please, all we're asking as viewers, reach out to us. Please be guests on the show. Give us any cases that you would like for us to talk about. So Mess Around, I'm going to turn this over to you quick, and then you can tell me, kind of any final thoughts that you would like to mention about these Red Tape files and anything people can expect to see coming up.
Well, like I said, the Angela Reed case is one, and it's like really goes back to when you called me that day and you're like, hey, I've been thinking about doing the show. What do you think? And I'm like, dude, that'd be amazing. I think there's a market for that. Like, I think a lot of people would be interested in watching that and being involved in some of that type of show. And as soon as we put it out there, we had several people from our own network like, hey, I want in on that. I'd like to be a guest sometime. So just like I said, any case you want us to look at, throw it up, message us, whatever, message us on our Coast to Coast page, and we will research it. And maybe if you want, you can even come on and talk about it yourself.
All right. So with that, we're at the time tonight. Like I said, it was going to be a very, very short show tonight. Next week, our goal is, every week we're going to be going from about 30 minutes to an hour, depending. Let's throw this out there and tell you, depending on the facts we have and the cases, it's going to be that. And if we have special guests, then you never know. The show could definitely go longer. But if it's just us, then we have to look at the facts we have. But we want people, the one thing though, is that if we do have special guests on our Cold Case File show here, is that we want people to be very cautious. And what we mean by that is we want you to make sure that you have the facts and not coming out here and just spouting off information that you don't know to be accurate, or you just say, well, I do believe, or so I've heard. No, we want you to make sure that you have your facts straight, because we don't want to upset anybody when you're on here. We don't want to try and give any misleading information. And so,
Right.
So with that, we hope we do see everybody next week when we return for the Red Tape Files, when we get this thing going. I have finally moved to my new location, as you can see, so we have taken the last couple weeks off, but I am set to go, and we are definitely going to be returning. We plan on having a show this week for you, but then people wanted to know a little bit about us and the reason why we started the show, and this is the reason right here. This is the reason. So you'll be seeing us every Monday talking about the Red Tape Files and disappearances. So Mess Around Dave, final thoughts.
Yeah, I just hope that you guys like our show and the content's good for you, and I think a lot of people will dig it. And that's all I have for that. Stay tuned for Between the Ropes coming up at 9:00 though, if you guys are interested in wrestling. And then after that, we got the Four Bros show at 10:00. So I'm gonna get off here and go eat some dinner.
All right, so thank you everybody, and we will catch you next week for another episode of the Red Tape Files. So you have a fantastic night, and don't forget to catch our show next week, because next week we are going to have facts and clues about a disappearance. So go ahead and check it out, and we'll see you next week.